It's funny how football works sometimes. You go from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, and that's certainly the case today as the Pittsburgh Steelers roll the Kansas City Chiefs 43-14, and we were nearly, a play away from going from Mike Tomlin's worst loss ever last week, a 31-point loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, to his biggest win ever. If the Chiefs wouldn't have scored in the last play, it would have been a 36-point win, which would have been the largest margin of victory in Tomlin's career. So it's so good to get that victory and get that sour taste out of your mouth from last week against the Eagles, and to recover and have a sense of normalcy, and the sky is not falling. Excuse me. Because that's kind of how some of the vibe was last week of this team. To play that poorly. What's the long term ramifications? Can this team turn it around? Can they compete? I'm sure a lot of people are forgetting about what they said last week and what they read and what they thought. So that's just the ebbs and flows of the season. They're usually not that extreme in terms of the lows, and again today the highs are the highs. But that's just sometimes how football works. We've seen it in the NFL all around this year, this week. Just crazy stuff happens. But more to the point about how the Steelers won, it's similar to last week in terms of how the Eagles won or how Pittsburgh lost. They did everything right. They won in all three phases. They were good on special teams. Offense killed it, of course, and the defense played a whole heck of a lot better. I mean, obviously, offensively, anytime Ben Roethlisberger throws as many incompletions as he does touchdowns, it's a remarkable night. And for most of the night, he had more touchdowns than incompletions. So a couple of throws late kind of even the numbers back up. But still, as I wrote about in my stats of the weird, he's the first quarterback since Tom Brady in 2014, in October, I think it was, to have as many incompletions as touchdowns. So yeah, Ben was on fire. They get the deep ball working to Sammy Coates early. Coates also had a really nice game. He's able to high point the football, play physical, had 6 catches, and he did a kind of variety of things. I mean, a lot of it was to go route the screen game, but a couple other routes mixed in there as well. And I thought everything for Coates was good. AB didn't have the most gaudy game ever, but half your catches go for touchdowns. That's awesome. And on that touchdown that he did have, or the first one, the deep ball, just taking advantage of mistakes the Chiefs make. I mean, that's a max protect situation. That's basically a two-man route, and AB's in single coverage against what I think it was Steven Nelson. I mean, you take that all day. I don't know what happened with the Chiefs there, but that's a complete breakdown to only have a two-man route, and AB still singled up. I mean, their focus was to take him away and to bracket him. They did that to DeAndre Hopkins, for example, against the Texans a week or two ago, and to leave him one-on-one, I don't know what happened there with them. But yeah, he was good. I got just getting everybody involved in the offense, everybody getting a touch, everybody getting a feel, getting comfortable. Wheaton with a big catch, DHB. Darius Hayward-Bay had a great game, not only as a receiver, he got wide open, which is I think concept obviously more than what DHB did, but special teams value as well, making tackles. Started the one Chiefs drives, I think at their 2 yard line. Obviously, DHB left with a shoulder injury. We don't have a whole feel for what his status is going into this upcoming week against the Jets, but that was a great game from DHB. The O line did well. BJ Finney in particular, just because he was kind of under the spotlight tonight. He was our X factor for this game. Ben Roethlisberger praised him, and rightfully, appropriately so. But the whole line did well. Villanueva, Ryan Harris coming in for relief of Marcus Gilbert. And then the run game, Le'Veon Bell, getting him back. It was so good to get number 26 back, and he averages 8 yards per carry in his first game back, making him the first Steelers running back with at least 15 carries to average 8 or more yards since Willie Parker in 2006. And again, this is Bell's first game back, and he's moving all over the place. They're getting him as a receiver early, getting D. Will on the field. They're just going to give you so many looks this year, and he's just that extra weapon, not only as a running back but a receiver, and all the different ways he can line up, and obviously all the permutations you can have now with getting Williams on the field at the same time. It's just another thing defenses are going to have to account for and game plan for, and it's not easy to do. Because you're going to have to declare a lot, whether you're in man or zone, and spread out the field and lighten the box. I mean, you can go 21 personnel, 2 running backs and a tight end. It's going to put teams in their base, and you motion Bell out, so you're going to walk a linebacker out. Boom, you've lightened the box one guy. Williams can run the football, or you can throw the football. So a lot of advantages you get. You'll sprinkle that in some days more than others. But that was fantastic. I mean, making cuts like he never got hurt last year, so no worries there. Defensively, though, that was the big circle you had around it. What changes was this defense going to make? How were they going to get better? Could they get better? Could they establish a pass rush and force X tonight? Obviously, game situation is a great way to get pressure. You dictate the tempo. You make the Chiefs one-dimensional, and the Chiefs do not want to be one-dimensional. No one wants to be, but a team like Pittsburgh can live with it. Because you have the weapons, you have the quarterback, but the Chiefs, they don't have a Ben, they don't have an AB. They're way down on that kind of talent pool. So that's going to help. But Keith Butler obviously bringing a lot more pressure. It kind of tapered off in the second half because you're sitting on the lead. But you're seeing safeties, you're seeing corners, you're seeing inside linebackers rush. You're getting back into some of the fiery zones that we saw on a weekly basis last year. And if you follow me on Twitter, I was tweeting out some of the different looks as Storm and Thunder, as Frisco, Fire Zone, stuff like that. We'll get a deeper dive into it, throughout the week starting today, Monday. So that was what's required, and maybe it's not ideal because now you feel like you have to manufacture pressure. But at the same time, I think that he did some things that did involve fire zones and setting pressure, and some of those things are easy to see, but some less stunts, letting Tuitt and Hayward just kind of do their thing, play free or play fast, win their one-on-one matchups, and they sure did. Cam Hayward 3 sacks, the first Steelers defensive lineman to have 3 sacks in the game since Kimo von Oelhoffen in 2005. James Harrison won a lot. He didn't get any sacks, but he just whooped on Eric Fisher all game, which has just become the norm for him. Eric Fisher got a big long-term deal from Kansas City, but certainly looked like a guy that didn't earn it tonight. At least I don't know what the rest of his games have looked like, but Harrison certainly has his number. Tuitt did well. The whole group was getting after it. Even Ricardo Matthews a little bit, Javon Hargrave a little bit in the time that they got. So, it was a active group. The tackling was a whole lot better, which is kind of crazy to say after all the injuries on defense to Shazier and Golden, the team's best tackler. Jordan Dangerfield, replaced him admirably. And they did some different stuff situationally. I don't have a great grasp for it. I know Justin Gilbert played. I think they were doing some dime, or maybe some nickel with 4 cornerbacks and a safety. I was trying to see some of the guys that were at the game, tweeting it out, who was in the game, the personnel and stuff. Don't have a great feel for what exactly went down, but they definitely did some different stuff to maybe get Gilbert on Travis Kelce, because Gilbert has the size and length and of course the athleticism to match up. That'll be interesting to see. But you saw some of those wrinkles. So you saw some of the new, you saw some of the old fire zones and some of the new personnel groupings, and trying to just make what you can with all the injuries in the secondary. So I thought they did a great job tackling the catch, keeping everything in front of him. No big chunk plays. A lot better. Just some fundamental football, getting back to some very core philosophies the Steelers have. So, punt coverage team was even pretty good tonight. Now it's going to be an issue with all the injuries. No Sean Davis, Jordan Dangerfield playing defense and special teams. Against dangerous Tyreek Hill, and contained him, kept the lid on things pretty well. And kickoff coverage, you get the one big stop at the 2-yard line again. DHB making that tackle, Metakevich forcing them wide. It's just a great job all around. So they won in every facet, and as much as people might sour on Mike Tomlin, especially after games like last week where you get your butt you whooped on, the fact that Mike Tomlin's able to get this group to buy in and respond and to come out and play a game like this isn't something that every team can do. It's very easy to get negative and point fingers and, be sensitive to criticism. That's something that Todd Haley talked about, not being sensitive to criticism. That's an organizational thing. That's a culture thing. It didn't start with Tomlin, but Tomlin's continued it and been able to keep that up very well. So, Tomlin has control of that locker room, of his players. They respect him, they buy in, they listen, and they respond. That's what makes Mike Tomlin such a great coach. And so if you're looking for a moment, because some of those things are tough to quantify because it's not a game management thing, it's not a personnel thing, or clock management, or so I want to challenge or whatever, things that you can specifically point to, but big picture and culturally, those are the things that you can point to and say that's what makes Mike Tomlin the coach that he is, and why he's been with this team for 10 years and the success that he's had. So just something to keep in mind next time that you get a little anger from Mike Tomlin. It's going to happen. Understand, certainly not perfect. Definitely has his flaws, but big picture, the strengths that he has, the assets, and what he brings to the table, I think far outweigh some of the specific negatives that you're going to get with him. So great win, celebrate it. The Jets this upcoming week, they've been a turnover machine, so hopefully the Steelers can capitalize a little bit on that as well. But just happy to get a win, happy to put a smile on my face and your face, and just to have some positive vibes throughout the week. So stick with Depot the rest of the week as we break this game down. It'll be a lot of fun, a whole lot better than last week. And we'll talk to you guys soon. So thank you guys for watching. And again, stay with us the rest of the week.